From the Alex Trebek stage at Sony Picture Studios, this is Inside Jeopardy!
Hello and welcome back to Inside Jeopardy, your exclusive and official podcast destination for all things happening in the world of Jeopardy. I'm Sarah Foss. I'm joined by the one and only, recently had a birthday, Michael Davies.
Well, yes, exactly. I am even older now. So Jeopardy doesn't age you enough.
Exactly.
Producer Sarah. Yeah, even older now. Yeah, very excited. I hope that you doing the introduction doesn't mean that we didn't all just hear the dulcet sounds of Johnny Gilbert on the axe. I'm hoping that still happened.
You may not have heard them here in the Alex Trebek stage, but they were here. They were found.
Okay, there's a lot of Jeopardy going on, Sarah.
That is true. Well, first off, we've just wrapped up the postseason. It's been phenomenal, I think more than either of us could have expected.
Yeah.
And so with that, we're going to fall into more of a monthly cadence with the podcast. But don't worry, we're still going to continue to bring you any special announcements. We'll have the great special interviews. So keep on the social to see when each monthly podcast will land. But we've got to hit the road again. The podcast is hitting the road like we do.
Yeah. Big announcement. We're going to Washington, D.C.
Dun, dun, dun.
Our nation's capital.
Yes, we're going to take over.
Well, your nation's capital, technically.
Right. Well, you can claim it.
Yeah, I'm not a citizen.
Okay.
We want to remain factual here on the program.
All right. Well, we're going to go to my nation's capital. I'm going to bring Michael along as a honored guest.
Permanent resident.
And we're going to take over that city pretty much April 10th through the 12th. We're going to be visiting several colleges and universities. Then on the 11th, we're going to have our big event at the Lincoln Theater. This is where Michael and I do the podcast. Yep. We have special guests. We can't tell you who they are yet. It's a bit of a surprise. Ken Jennings will be there hosting the interactive game. Mm-hmm. And tickets will be on sale soon. So you want to keep checking back to our website and also to our social channels, because every event we've ever had with tickets, it sells out within hours. So you'll want to stay tuned for that and make sure you know exactly when those tickets go on sale. It's going to be a great event. There'll be regular ticket sales and also some VIP tickets. Yeah. Special opportunity for that.
And something new for us with an Inside Jeopardy live event. Our entire events are going to be culminating with a parade. Now, it's not a Jeopardy parade, although we could figure that out, the Jeoparade. I think we could figure that out and trademark that in the future. It's going to be the Cherry Blossom Parade, and our own Ken Jennings is going to be the Grand Marshal.
Yes,
what an honor.
He will be co-hosting, he'll be the Grand Marshal, so we're going to kind of culminate our big visit with Ken on the parade route, but it's good.
I've seen the cherry blossoms in D.C. before, and that is an amazing thing to behold.
Yeah, I'm hoping, we heard that the peak bloom is going to be end of March, so I'm hoping the blooms will stay for us.
We'll still be there by April.
Well, in JIT, believe it or not, we finally reached the end of PCJ. We have a winning team.
Yep.
But we won't spoil it for you, just in case, you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
We don't want to ruin it for those streamers who are a little late to the party. But we will have an interview. You and I did it, Michael, with the winning team after.
I remember it well.
They were crowned the champions and went home with that giant trophy. So we'll bring that to you on YouTube on March 17th.
Yeah, and look, PCJ, I should say, streamers don't publish their ratings the whole time, unlike sort of regular television networks. But the numbers we know have been sensational. Thank you so much for everybody who's watched and tweeted about it, and put on Insta and talked about it, got on the Reddit and messaged about it. It is. It's really worked so well. We're waiting right now to hear about a season 2, and we know from just everybody out there, we're going to have we had a lot of applications this last year. It's going to be insane this year because so many people feel like this is the Jeopardy that they can play. Yeah, so PCJ season 2, but for now, we're just going to see what happens. I think we're so impressed that there's so many viewers who don't actually watch the traditional Jeopardy show, but are finding Pop Culture Jeopardy. Yeah, I think that's true of all of our different variants. The crossover even between Jeopardy and Celebrity Jeopardy isn't huge in terms of the crossover viewers. And certainly with Pop Culture Jeopardy, we found a newer, often much younger audience, found audiences all over the world for the program. So just really excited about that extension of our brand. Well, also in Jeopardy airtime, this Wednesday, the last of the quarterfinals for Celebrity Jeopardy. Another exciting lineup for that. Omar J. Dorsey, Mina Kimes, and Fortune Feimster. And then, of course, the JIT. The JIT concluded in 2 games. It's the first time one of our postseason tournaments has finished
in the minimum amount ever since we started these shifting scales of, 3 to 7 games or 2 to 4. This one actually ended in 2. We're going to highlight those games coming up. But that means that last Friday, we went back to regular Jeopardy. So you got to see the return of Laura Fata. And it's an exciting time to be at Jeopardy.
Hey, look, let's just congratulate supervillain Matt Amodio for winning the JIT. We can't, yes, he might have finished it and ended it too quickly in true supervillain style.
Yes.
But amazing to see Matt come back to this stage yet again and do such a phenomenal job in JIT, which, I should say for the people who work at Jeopardy, in many ways is like, it's the homecoming. It is sort of like the brand of this show that I think people who work at the program enjoy the most. It's a very different atmosphere on the stage. It's elite level Jeopardy. The competition is so fierce, but the camaraderie is so high.
And you and I had a chance to talk with Matt right after he had his first tournament victory, which we were surprised to know that after all this, the first time he ever won a tournament.
Yep.
So that is on YouTube. If you haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, make sure to take a listen. Always a good talk with Matt Amodio. And now let's go back to the world of what happened last week. We kicked off the week with our second semifinal featuring Matt Amodio, Luigi de Guzman, and Emily Sands. Wow. This was a great game by all 3 players. Luigi took an early lead and was in control for most of the game, but then Matt went all in on both daily doubles in Double Jeopardy to take the lead, which he maintained heading into final. Matt was the only correct player in final, and he secured that spot into the finals.
Yeah, talk about elite level Jeopardy. Luigi, who had knocked out Amy earlier in the competition. Emily, wow, what a fantastic player she is. But Matt comes through and really makes it work. He joked on X, I can still hear the clicking of Luigi's buzzer next to me on the Jeopardy stage. He and Emily were relentless.
Yeah, well, Ken caught up with the players after the game. Let's hear how Matt was feeling after that big victory.
Well, Matt, those daily doubles really kept your head above water in the second round.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good wagering that much, especially a lot of times, especially with your life on the line. But I think the game theory optimal thing, if you know more than 50% of them, is to do it. So here I am.
I mean, just to be clear, your life is not literally on the line.
My game show life.
Like Luigi and Emily are not getting taken to a farm upstate after. But yes, you're fighting for your JIT life at the moment.
Which is really the only life that matters.
Luigi, you had a particularly strong game against top-notch competition. 50 attempts on the buzzer. Is it a little easier when it's the daily doubles that kind of change the flow of a game because it's the part of the game that has the most luck?
You know what, Ken? I don't think anything's easy about this. But I think I was saying backstage at some point, the best you can hope for is to be within the noise. When things get quiet, either way, things get a little weird. Mm-hmm. But when you're within the noise, you feel like you've still got a puncher's chance.
I mean, honestly, it is tough to lose on Jeopardy, right? It's not a lot of fun to lose on Jeopardy, but I hope it's some consolation that, you all played amazing games. You two played an amazing game against a 38-game Jeopardy winner.
I know, right?
Against Matt Amodio, come on. It's not an easy draw, right?
An emerging game show villain.
Matt, what are you thinking about the finals? We already know you'll be playing against Roger Craig.
Yes, that sounds scary.
Again, not the villain's take there.
Yes, it'll be fun. Playing this game so much fun. I just love that I get to do it 1 or 2 more times at least.
Okay, moving on to Tuesday for our last semi-final matchup between Raymond Goslow, Juveria Zahir, and Ray Lalonde. Raymond and Juveria were tied heading into Double Jeopardy, but Raymond added $5,000 to his score on the first daily double. Juveria then dropped $4,000 on the last daily double, allowing Raymond to take the lead into final. But Raymond was unable to come up with the correct response, and Juveria did the come-from-behind win and claimed the last spot in the finals.
Yeah, Juveria went on Reddit to say, my first episode in which I finished with $0 aired on May 8th, 2023, the same day that Masters premiered. If you had told me that less than 2 years later, I would be on a stage with Matt Amodio and Roger Craig battling for a spot in Masters 3, I would have never believed it, but here we are. Thank you so much for watching and for all your kind messages. This has been the ride of a lifetime. And then I have to share Raymond's comment because he chimed in to say, Juveria played a brilliant and methodical game and earned every bit of her spot in the finals. I'm honored to have met and competed against such a talented player and radiant person. There is no amount of money or fame that can replace the feeling of getting to hear her on the phone home to her kids that night and saying, yes, this means mommy gets to wear all those dresses on TV too. It brings tears to my eyes as a mom.
I love it.
She, of course, has daughters the same age as mine, and that was quite a win.
Yep. When it comes down to it, it's all about getting to wear those dresses
Well,
for some of our players. I love it. And some of our producers.
Yeah, it's all about that.
It's so nice.
Well, let's hear how the players were feeling after a very exciting game.
Raymond, you had a fantastic game after the daily double missed by Juveria. You had a really good. You had a solid lead over two of the best players in recent memory. Final, you didn't love the category? What were you thinking?
I did like the category, which is why I bet to win. So if I didn't like the category, I would have gone for 0, which knowing now would have guaranteed a win, actually.
Well, it was a fantastic game. I hope you don't fault yourself for that. $10,000, well-deserved for Ray and Raymond, our twin Rays. Are you an honorary Ray now, Juveria?
I am the president of the Ray Lalonde fan club. So I'm a Ray stan.
She's certainly a ray of sunshine, that's for sure.
Oh, look at that.
Don't make me cry.
It didn't hit me until Raymond got the Mackenzie River clue that you two were probably dividing the loyalties of Canada during this game.
I think everyone in Canada cheers for Ray. And when Ray came to my watch party, people only cared about Ray. Like all of my daughter's friends were like, it's Ray Lalonde.
Is that
and
Ray
getting pictures
Lalonde?
with Ray and Matea, and I was just like Hannah's mom.
They probably wanted to get him to talk. Ray, say something in that voice. That's why we have you back on Jeopardy.
I got to spend 2 days listening to Ray talk.
Ooh.
I'm so lucky.
I want to go to a museum with Ray and just have him be the audio guide, since he's such an art guy. He has a great voice for that, right?
Come to Toronto, I would love to.
That's a lovely offer. Thank you so much for coming back. Well done to both of you. Great game. Juveria, we'll see you in the finals.
And now a quick word from our sponsor. When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product and brilliant marketing, but an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business making selling and buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And the not-so-secret secret, Shopify uses Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%. So upgrade your business and get the same checkout Aloe and Allbirds use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Jeopardy, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Jeopardy to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Jeopardy. And now, back to Inside Jeopardy.
Heading into Wednesday, Matt, Roger, and Juveria took the stage for day 1 of the finals. And this was a tight game between Matt and Roger. Matt took the lead in Double Jeopardy thanks to a $6,600 true daily double. But then Roger doubled up on the last daily double to close the gap. Matt managed to take a good but not insurmountable lead heading into final. All 3 players were correct, and so Matt gets that all-important first win of the tournament.
Yeah, and I think that really was an important first win. I think I've said this before on Inside Jeopardy, is getting to watch Roger play. I mean, Juveria, we know how amazing she is at this game. We've seen her a lot. I'd never got to see Roger play. You had a player from the Trebek era of the program, but wow, a stone-cold killer behind the contestant lecterns, an amazing, amazing player. And Matt really brought it. 40 attempts, 73% accuracy on the buzzer, 27 correct responses for his final score of $45,000, 601 in a final. That's the second highest score of the season.
Yeah, that really says something. In the post-game, Ken also pointed out that Juveria had 47 attempts, so actually more attempts than Matt. And she said, it's one of those things where there was so much I knew, but then when I could finally get in, it would be on something that I didn't know, but maybe get all the bad stuff out of the first game and focus on the next one. Another comical moment in this game was the recent movies for 400. This beloved bear gets a terrifying makeover in the 2023 horror film subtitled Blood and Honey. Obviously, Juveria responded, who is Cocaine Bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then Ken joked, of course, Winnie the Pooh now in the public domain, although I'm sure Cocaine Bear is having some sort of crazy adventures with as well. And Matt said Winnie the Pooh in his college days.
Yeah, we'll see. He had to have all the honey. Okay, on Thursday, our players returned for day 2 of the finals, and it was an excellent game from all 3 players. It was a close Jeopardy round, but Juveria went all in on the first daily double in Double Jeopardy for the lead, which she was able to protect heading into final, with Matt close behind in second place. It was a triple stumper final, and a savvy small wager from Matt gave him the win to become our JIT champion in the minimum of 2 games.
We wanted it to be stretched out a little more, but happy for Matt. A little Easter egg for you in this game. In final, right as the think music starts, if you look closely, you can see that Juveria accidentally started to write her final Jeopardy response on the telestrator with a marker. You know, we give all the players a marker in case their telestrator doesn't work so they can write that on paper. So then she quickly, put the cap back on and grabbed the correct stylus. But I love it. Even the best champions, Final Jeopardy is stressful. So it happens, even to the greats.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking of the greats, in their interviews on this show, Matt thanked his girlfriend for being his comedy writer. Juveria thanked her husband for all the support. But Roger, of course, thanked his wife, Julia Collins, another Jeopardy great. The best thing that's ever happened to me, he said.
And I like to think we made that happen. We have a little piece in it, the Jeopardy romance, alive and well. Ken caught up with Matt after the big win. Let's take a listen.
So, Matt, it was actually Michael Davies who pointed out to me right before the interview that we had some Jeopardy tournament winners here, and then we had Super Champ Matt Amodio, who I had forgotten does not have a tournament win to his credit.
I know. Lots of disappointed fans in the Amodio household in the recent tournaments.
Is that where most of your fans are? In your own home?
I think it's close to 100%.
No. But was this something that had been weighing on you? Were you thinking, I could get a tournament win here?
Yeah, I didn't peak in high school life-wise, and so I don't like the idea of peaking early. And I think my Jeopardy career had up to this point. And so now it's nice to have this.
Well, winning in straight sets is very impressive, especially against, 2 of the great Jeopardy players of their eras, Roger Craig and Juveria Zahir. This game, once again, so close. 45 attempts on the buzzer for Roger and Juveria, 41 for you, Matt. They were a little ahead of you again, but you had better accuracy, 19 correct responses to 18 and then 15. Juveria in the lead thanks to that daily double. You must have felt relieved.
Yes, I did. You lose your first game and you always think, do I belong? Do I belong at second chance? Do I belong at Champions Wildcard? Do I belong at TOC?
After all you've done, the imposter syndrome still kicks on that quick.
And then you look over and then it's, 2 of the great players who have ever played this, and then you, I guess, but them. And I'm Mom from Whitby, but to be able to come back from that last game and show what I can do and be brave for my girls, when they watch, I think they're going to be proud.
It was a great game. They have every reason to be proud. It was such a pleasure to have all 3 of you back, and all of the JIT players, the quarterfinalists, on up to the finals. This has been a lot of fun for me and for all of us. Congratulations to 3 of you on your success, and Matt, well done. We'll see you at Masters again.
All right, well, the JIT was done, and so it was time to return for the first time in nearly 10 weeks to regular Jeopardy, welcoming back our reigning champion who had been waiting in the wings, Laura Fata, going up against Omar Abu Rial and Roger Gammon. Laura quickly took the lead in Double Jeopardy and maintained it heading into final. It was a triple stumper, and with a minimal wager, Laura pulls off an 8th victory.
My word, and after such a long wait as well.
Yeah, I think it was worth the wait, she would say. This show featured a category, Secret Service Protection, and the clues were presented by Sterling K. Brown. Of course, he is a part of the hit show Paradise, already renewed for a season 2. So great to sit down with him and give us some clues into the interesting history of the Secret Service. Not exactly a real life look at what's happening today, but it was historical, and I loved it.
We also witnessed a great Celebrity Jeopardy game last Wednesday in primetime between Sean Gunn, Darcy Carden, and Sherry Cola. Sean just dominated in this game, though, with 39 correct responses. Of course, there's an extra Triple Jeopardy round there.
Yes.
And 2 daily doubles. He entered Final Jeopardy with $22,100 and a runaway win.
Yeah, one thing that happened during this game, Darcy's buzzer broke during Triple Jeopardy. This is something I don't think I've ever seen happen. I don't want to say that it broke in terms of she was ringing in and not able to get in, but actually the red part of the buzzer came off. This is a Jeopardy first. Do not worry, we have plenty of extra buzzers on hand. We were able to replace that. It didn't impact her gameplay. And then Sherry actually revealed to Ken that, she thought Alex was a hottie. And Ken joked, "I'm sorry, I cannot compete with the mustache and everything." And Sherry said, "Ken, you're also a dime piece."
Wow. I've heard a lot of things about Ken.
Left you speechless with that one.
Was never what I thought. I must say, after we taped the show, I started listening to Darcy's podcast. She does a game show, quiz show podcast, which is pretty excellent. You should check that out.
All right. Well, Sean is headed to the semifinals, and now it is time for our host chat with Ken. An audience member asked him, as your legendary run went on, did you ever feel like you were never going to lose?
I like that you said it was legendary. More questions about me should have the word legendary. Everybody take note. That really gets on my good side. It was kind of the opposite. Like I kind of felt like every day was guaranteed to be the last one, because I was like, what is even happening here? This seems so improbable, especially to me. Like, there's no way this is going to continue. This for sure is the game. And then it kept not being the game. When it finally happened, I was like, okay, there it is. I had to wait a few months.
He always talks about the day after he ended up finally losing, but it didn't hit him until the next morning. He was like, oh, they're playing Jeopardy without me.
Well, that wraps up our show. Thank you to our listeners and viewers for tuning in each week. We're going to be back in April as we begin our new monthly cadence on Inside Jeopardy, and we hope you join us then. Make sure to follow along on all of our socials, so stay up to date with all things Inside Jeopardy.
And for those of you in DC, we'll see you next month.
We're so glad you're here. Stick around and click that subscribe button so you see all our latest videos.